Hello everybody, and welcome to Reeltime! Boy, it's been a while since I said that. First of all, somewhat flying solo today. Just to clarify, this isn't any sort of artistic differences or like a lover's spat or anything. Kyle has moved away. He has gone to his homeland many, many miles away, and yeah, that's that. So, since it's been such a long time since the last episode, hence the facial bush, quick summary of things that have happened, well, more or less films that I've seen. Captain America Civil War was incredible, Suicide Squad was terrible, and I'm looking forward to Fantastic Beasts coming out next week. And what other films have been out? Sausage Party, that was bizarre. So bizarre. There's been many films this year, and hopefully by the end of this year I'll be able to put together a little top 10-y style kind of video. I mean, the Reeltime Awards are a prestigious awards ceremony, but I will never be able to do them justice with just me. I miss you, Kyle. Anyway, the subject of today's review is Arrival, which came out yesterday, and I was very fortunate enough to see it. And I didn't really know much about this film going into it. I'd seen trailers before, but the trailer doesn't really give much away about the story. The simple premise of the story is it stars Amy Adams as a woman called Louise, and she's a linguistics professor. She knows a lot of languages, and aliens arrive. That's basically the big bombshell at the end of the first act is 12 alien spaceships have appeared all over the world, all in the key locations: America, the UK, Russia, China, and 8 other places that I can't remember. And the military approach her, led by Forrest Whitaker, to basically say, we've made communications with these aliens, but we can't understand a word they're saying because they don't speak English. Can you try and translate this for us? To which she's just like, I could try. And it involves Louise and this guy Ian, played by Jeremy Rimmer, who's a scientist, and he's kind of a lot more enthusiastic about meeting aliens than everyone else is. And yeah, that's the basic premise of the story. And I like the fact that this film has a lot more mystery to it than other science fiction films. For instance, Independence Day Resurgence. That's basically just a case of the aliens come and they try and destroy us all. Whereas this one, it's just their pods are there. They're not doing anything. They're just floating above the ground or the sea or the desert, and we're just trying to figure out what the hell they're doing here. And it's a very clever film, really clever. The way they structure it, and it is a slow build-up. So if you're going into it hoping for a real romp of Michael Bay style action, you're not going to get it. But what you are going to get is a far more intelligent and well-written science fiction. And much like Prometheus, I know it seems like a bit of an odd comparison between the two, but what drew me in for both films is the mystery aspect of it. Because when you're dealing with science fiction, one of the kind of appeals of it is the audience finding out things the same time our main characters are. And it's that aspect of the unknown that really draws us in to think, who are these aliens? What are they going to do? What are they going to look like? And with regards to looks, the aliens actually, I think they look really cool. I mean, they're not like conventional aliens. They are friggin' massive beings. And it's clever the way they do it because they don't show you them entirely. When they communicate with the aliens, they're sort of hid behind this panel of glass. And behind the glass, there's this sort of fog effect, and you could see them just kind of drifting in, and if they reach forward with their tentacles, you could see that sort of poking through, but there's you don't see an awful lot of them, basically. The cast now, Amy Adams, she's as amazing as ever. It's actually quite cool to see her in a role that's not her usual one, because all the films I've seen her in, she's like loads of her personality comes through, and it's like a ray of sunshine on screen. But in this one, well, it's hard to get into this without getting into spoilers, but when the film starts, she feels like a real sort of troubled soul. Like she's gone through a lot of hardship in her life, and she's not like happy-go-lucky, you know, conventional type of protagonist. But don't want to get into spoilers on that one, but you will see when you go and see the film. And Jeremy Renner, his charisma just shines through the whole time. And it's good to see him in sort of a non-actiony type role for a change, you know, where he's not doing Hawkeye, but he's got the same amount of charisma that he has there. And the way he sort of embraces all of the bizarre sciencey stuff is really it's really infectious to watch. It's a real slow builder. There's a lot of tension there, and it keeps you on the edge of your seat. Even though there isn't too much action, the story is really progressive in the sense that the aliens communicate not by sound, but by these really cool kind of writings that they do. They kind of spray ink out of their tentacles, and it forms a little circle. And the specific shapes included in the circle construct entire sentences, so they can do entire sentences within a couple of seconds. So the film is them trying to decipher what all of this means and trying to communicate with them. And that aspect is really clever. I did not see that coming in the trailer, unless there were other trailers that were released that hinted at this aspect. The one trailer I saw showed very little of the film. And to be honest, I'm glad. Because too many films nowadays, they show the entire film in the trailer. And when you go see the film, none of it is really a surprise. Whereas this film, I really didn't know what to expect going into it. So I'm really glad that they didn't show too much in the trailer there. Now, in my opinion, the crowning glory of this film, apart from its cast, is the direction and the cinematography. If you look at the trailer, the shots are so beautiful to look at. And it's not one of those conventional Hollywood films where everything is blazing sunshine and it's like bursting with colour, everything looks perfect, well polished, sugar coated. It's not quite as depressing as like a David Fincher movie where he has this blue tint on everything. It's just kind of naturally shot. Like when they turn up and the pod's there, you got these amazing landscape shots, but it's overcast. So naturally you're not going to get an awful lot of colour, and they just roll with it and it looks beautiful. And a lot of the time when it's a low light scene, like a sunrise, sunset or nighttime, there are times where you can't see an awful lot of the characters' faces. Like you kind of just see their silhouette and you could see a little bit of their facial features. But to be honest, I'm a huge fan of that because it just makes the film that much more beautiful to me, rather than having a ridiculous, unnatural number of lights sitting around everywhere to illuminate the scene perfectly, much like mine is right now, you see. Negatives about the film. Well, I suppose there's the twist ending, and trust me, it's not one of those M. Night Shyamalan, what a twist moments or anything. You don't see it coming. And it does make sense. It's just, while I think it's a good twist, I'm not sure if it gives me a satisfying ending to a film, because an ending is supposed to sort of wrap up the whole story, and I think more than anything else, it has to feel like a satisfying ending, you know, where sort of the weakest endings you can think of are where the main character gets killed off, or a Deus Ex moment comes to save everyone, you know, something that feels cheap. But this one, it's a bit of a supernaturally sort of twist, and it does kind of have merit. It's got more merit to me than the ending of Interstellar with the 5-dimensional Tesseract, because that's just ridiculous. But this one, there's an aspect of time to it. I know what you're thinking, time, wibbly wobbly time thingies, but they don't go into it that much. It's kind of introduced just towards the end, and it does in a way wrap up the entire story quite nicely. But for me, it wasn't the most satisfying of endings. It kind of left me with more questions asked than it answered. But then again, it's actually quite nice for a change to not have a film that spoon feeds you the ending and everything's wrapped up and everything's great. You know, by the time the film ends, yeah, it's still a fantastic film. It's beautifully shot, brilliantly acted, keeps you on the edge of your seat, and it says a lot. The bloke who directed this, I can't remember his name. Actually, screw it, I'll check, because this is a professional channel and I want to do things professionally. His name is Denis Villeneuve. Yeah, Villeneuve, and he has previously directed Sicario and Prisoners, and both traits of those films kind of transpire into Arrival, which is slow burning tension. And it really works, especially in a sci-fi story, you know, because as I said before, one aspect of science fiction is what is out there, what is the unknown, what if aliens come down onto Earth to loot our brains, you know. So, for Arrival, I would give it a solid 9 out of 10. So, I hope you guys have enjoyed this kind of rusty review. It has been a while, and yeah, I do miss Kyle. I'm going to go watch the old episodes. See you later.